Welcome to Olsem Wanem. I'm Florence John Duo. In this episode, we will discuss what some secondary school students are doing to help their peers avoid various situations in life that many young people are facing these days. The students used their videos to act as a medium of disseminating information to their peers. Many young people make decisions these days without fully taking into consideration the consequences that they may face. And as for parents or guardians, it is vital to guide and support them in the choices that they make, and also make aware the positives and negatives that come with whatever decisions they make. By doing this, young people can consider and choose wisely.
Because of all these issues, Marie Stopes is trying to address these issues in a way that we're trying to engage the students to become the agents or become the peer educators in different schools. They have to be telling in terms of awareness and telling the other students that these are the issues that we need to address. Example like sexual reproductive health issues involving STI, HIV/AIDS, and most importantly, we address unwanted and unplanned pregnancies. So that's why we involve the students, so they can be able to tell other students about what is involved in these sexual reproductive health and unwanted pregnancies within their own schools.
Having students talk about the situations that they face through videos that they produced is one effective tactic to educate peers.
My film, I'm targeting young children, like teenagers. I want them to watch it so they can, learn from my mistakes, because I've gone through so many hard times and, all those, like going out with teenage friends, following them around, and so I would like the whole wide country or world to watch my film so they can learn from my mistakes, because I don't want them to follow my footsteps, because I've gone through some kind of hard times in my studies. I never even do my studies properly. I used to worry a lot about myself, but they used to tell me to go around with them, like follow them around, do whatever they want. So I used to do that.
The film is all about the right time, as the title states. It's more to do with young people, because nowadays, as we see, young people, without them considering the timing of them doing things which should be good for their future, they get themselves into situations that they may not able to control. It was very difficult for me to come out and express myself in public about the experience that I had.
The film that I have made with the help of the Marie Stopes, the first time we came, we attended a sexual health, reproduction, and family planning session. So when we came for that, we were asked to make films. So the only thing that I think of to make aware of the teenage people to avoid the diseases like STIs, I have to come up with my own experience. The thing that I have made, the film that I have made, it was not a story taken from another person. That was from my experience. So taking some people's experience to follow is not good, but you have to come up with your own experience so that some people can, see it and then they follow it. And in one way or the other, it will make you special or important. The title of the film is First Time. That was the first time that I went out with a girl and that I had a disease. So that the theme behind the film is the decision making, a wise decision making. So today, young young people, they have to make wise choices.
The video is about my life, what I've gone through, and my experiences in that. And what I'd like to say is when encounter some situations as that, we need to have courage as young people. We have to have courage, and we have the abilities. We must have the ability to push us forward than falling back to such things. The idea beside the film is focusing on sexual health and reproductive situations that are happening around the world and in Papua New Guinea, especially in Papua New Guinea, that affects the lifestyle of young people like us. And since it's an issue, it's one of the things that is affecting the development of the country, economically, the development funds and this of the country. So we come up with this just to get people that get peers like us to understand what's going on around us.
You're watching Olsem Wanem. We are looking as to how secondary school students are helping their peers avoid negative situations. Teaching sexual and reproductive health in schools is important. Students who spoke to Olsem Wanem gave their views on what they, as students, think about the teaching of this important aspect in schools and how these lessons can help them make the right decisions in life. We all know too well that sex and everything that relates to it is a taboo and not a topic of discussion between parents and children, as many parents do not feel comfortable discussing and educating their children on that subject. However, there is one place that the children get to learn about sexual reproductive health, which is in schools.
Sexual reproductive health has been taught very well, but when it comes to certain concepts within this topic, most of the teachers, they find it hard to express the issues to the extent of the students may know more about that particular topic. It is all about you being a complete being, because without reproductive sexual health, you might face consequences as you live, because reproductive sexual health is very important, because we as human beings, we come through this process of reproductive sexual health. Therefore, it is very important for us to consider in our life.
I think it's good because nowadays we have high population pregnancy rate. The rate is too high. PNG's rate is too high due to pregnancies. So I would like to encourage teachers on keep on teaching personal developments to all the students, because nowadays girls, some of them, they don't know unsafe sex and safe sex. They just like peer influence. They just do it for the sake of doing it. So it's better we can learn personal development, reproductive health system.
Teachers, normally the schools that are at the remote areas, they don't have access to this kind of services like what Marie Stopes offer. So they normally go through the textbooks to teach the students.
Some students are now calling on relevant authorities to form partnerships which will see effective and quality teaching of sexual reproductive health to students in schools.
Such organizations as Marie Stopes, there's like effective negotiations, communications between the government, so they can put the programs together with the educational curriculum, so it can be part of the subjects that we learn in schools. So in that way, I think every student will have the access to such information as that.
I'm asking the education department to make available of some organizations or ways which will equip the teachers to relay this kind of information to students in order for them to be in a better position.
Welcome back. We now feature some videos which were made by the students in partnership with Marie Stopes PNG to educate their peers on various issues that are affecting many young people today. Their videos were featured during the 6th Human Rights Film Festival here in Port Moresby. Let's take a look.
I was brought up in a polygamous family. I had a big sister who got pregnant when she was in grade 10. Then my dad withdrew her from school. They thought that after she delivered a baby, she could go back and continue her studies. But it was hard because my mom left us and we were with our stepmother. My sister decided to stay home and look after her baby because she was afraid my stepmom might not take care of her. The father of the baby wants to marry my sister, but my father doesn't like him because he spoiled her education. My father used to say to me that I would follow in my sister's footsteps. He didn't allow me to go out. Sometimes my sister snuck out and visited the father of the baby. When my father found out, he got cross with me, accusing me of hiding the truth, but actually I didn't know. Because of my sister, he often got cross with me. I was facing a very tough time. I didn't see my mother anymore. My father was often cross with me. I felt so bad. I wanted to give up from school. Sometimes I go out with my sister cousins and drink some. One of them got pregnant too. During that time, I had a boyfriend who was 4 years older than me. He was good, but he kept asking me for something. But I didn't want to. And each time we would see each other, he would ask again. I was afraid I would get a disease. I learned about them in school, or get pregnant. I learned about that from my sister, and I wasn't ready for that. My aunties reminded me that my future is in my own hands. I realized they were right.
During my 18th birthday party, I invited my friends. One guy brought with him his cousin sister to my party. She was nice and beautiful, and I was attracted to her. I went and asked for her phone number. After the party was ended, everyone left, but I asked her to stay back. I wasn't thinking about anything else. It was my first time. I didn't know anything about safe sex. I had heard about condoms, but I didn't know how to use. Maybe they were available, but I didn't know where to buy it. Sometime later, I faced problems in my sexual health. I felt pain when I urinated, and that disturbed me from my studies. I skipped classes most of the time. I told my best friend about it, and he encouraged me to go to the clinic. He knew more than I did. When I went to the clinic in my school, there was a female nurse. I was nervous to talk to her. She saw my reaction and asked if I wanted to talk to a man. After the test, he told me that I had an STI. I was treated until the disease was gone. From there, I learned my lesson to use condoms. After that, I told my cousin brothers about what I had experienced, so that the same thing would not happen to them.
When I was in grade 8, I faced the saddest moment in my life. I was sitting on the veranda, and my mother told me in front of my family that I had a stepsister. My father had her when he was young and single. When I looked at my father, he didn't look at me or smile. I cried all night in my room. I hated my father for a long time. Later, my dad told me I should love and treat her like a sister. I also wished to have a sister, so I accepted. At first, I was proud, but when she came into our house, she spoiled my parents' marriage. She gave her mother's phone number to my dad. She was bossy. She even tried to own my room. She took my bed and I slept on the floor. Sometimes I felt sorry for her. She didn't have parents to guide her. She didn't get to attend any school. When she was in our home, I followed her around. I tried drinking, smoking, going out with friends. She told me stories when we drank. She told me how to have sex. She told me, if you don't follow me, you are not a good girl. I felt pressure because my father said I should love her. Rumors started in my village about me. My grades dropped. After a few months, my stepsister became pregnant. She already had one child who lived with a mother's small brother. When my dad found out she was pregnant, he threatened both of us. He made her leave, and I wish she would never come back to our family. After she was gone, I changed. I didn't like the rumors, and suddenly school became really important to me. I'm in grade 11 now. I have plans to become a lawyer someday. My stepsister influenced me a lot.
I was brought up in a family where my mother and father gave me advice about the timing of things. Getting a good education first, when to get married, when to have a family. They want me to have a good life. When I was 18 years old, I had a relationship with a girl who lived on the wharf next to mine. She was smart and good looking, but I didn't know her very well. I was working a lot. I didn't see her often. One day, I walked by her sister-in-law's house. She called me over to the veranda and told me that she noticed my girlfriend was pregnant, and the rumors were spreading around that I was the father. She wanted me to stay away. I was really depressed and angry, but I held my temper. I didn't know what to do. I had been following my parents' advice, waiting for the right time. She was younger and in school. I wanted her to stay in school. I wasn't ready to get married, but more than that, I couldn't be the father. I didn't have any sexual relations with her. I was so confused. Hurt. I pulled away and she tried to get closer. After some time, her sister-in-law called me over again and told me about the other guy. For a while, I stayed away from any girlfriends. Then last year, it happened again. I was worried about my reputation, but I've tried hard to be a good role model in my community. Tried to follow my parents' advice. At least for now, I don't plan to get into a relationship again, but wait for the right time.
To end this week's program, some words of advice and encouragement for student peers by the student filmmakers. These four brave students produced those videos shown earlier on in the program based on their own experiences.
The peers who will be watching this, my advice is that they must make good choices, because the beautiness or the sweetness of a girl that they see, they don't know what she is carrying in her. So they have to make wise decision, because some people, they say it's only stupid people they end up getting this kind of STI. But sometimes a person who say this, he or she doesn't know that the person he or she is going around with has the disease in herself or in him or her.
My advice to my peers, my age groups, and maybe the upcomings is that prevention is better than cure. We have to prevent ourselves from the things that are happening around us, especially the things that may lead us into situations that we're not supposed to be in. And yeah, we have to have the mindset of knowing ourselves and what's our purpose, than just to get influenced by our friends or this, or because of the situations back at home, the stress and all this, we don't have the strength to go further and eventually involves in anything else. So yeah, my encouragement to my peers, don't get into things that you shouldn't be doing that may affect our lives. Like, it's better to sacrifice for like short period of time than to worry for the long run. The world today is developing in both the negative good and the positive and negative way. And it all comes back to us as individuals, as how we think, we behave, we look towards things, the way we approach things. And the main thing is common sense. We have to have common sense.
Okay, my word of advice is they have to be self-disciplined. Self-discipline is a very big thing to all of them, because in boarding schools, self-discipline is always there, because parents never look after us. We look after by ourselves. So I want the friends to like discipline themselves, not to follow other peers. We have plenty different kind of peers, good friends, bad friends, and all those. So I want them to follow good friends rather than bad friends, best friends rather than bad friends. Because if bad friends, you won't. I know that if you follow bad friends, you won't achieve your goal. They won't like. They'll always influence you how to do negative things rather than positive things.
My message out to all my peer friends out there, we have to manage ourselves and put our priorities right. When to have sex or when to have a relationship. So I'm very privileged to have this honor to do this film with the Marie Stopes PNG. It was very challenging for me to share this with people, but I believe one way or the other, if I do share this secret of mine which stays deep down in my heart, it will really help my peers out there who actually are in the same situation. And they may learn from me and they may evaluate themselves and then do what is right for them for a better future.
This is especially to target teenage. So it's better to, there's a saying goes, prevention is better than cure. So in order to avoid all this, it's better to go for prevention than to go for cure.
We've come to the end of this week's episode of Olsem Wanem. A special thank you to all who have participated in putting together this episode. If you have any comments or stories you would like to share, please contact us via the address showing on your screen or visit our Facebook page. Join us again same time next week for another episode of Olsem Wanem. For now, enjoy the rest of your viewing on your #1 station, MTV.